Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be solving this question right over here. I got this question from Varsity Tutors, so I just wanted to give credit to where I need to. Let's just jump right into this question because this question is a long one, so I need a lot of space and a lot of time for this one. So I'm going to try to jump into it. So we have the function right here, and we want to find this. So I know that I need to find the derivative because I look at this f prime there, and you can't see that color, f prime there. So I'll find the derivative here. So let's do that, and that's the value you see in that's marked with the blue arrow. So f of x is equal to, I'm just writing the problem down so I can scroll down to get some space, sine of x squared, and I want to find the derivative of this. So I'm going to use Leibniz notation. You don't have to. I like this notation, so I will use it. Okay, so this is what I want to find. So this is what I'll do. So I'll scroll down. I don't need the problem for now. And I'll work it out. So here I need to use a product rule because we have a product, and I'll split this into two functions. I'll call this one gx, and I'll call this one hx. So gx is equal to, g of x is equal to x squared. H of x is equal to sine x squared. The derivative of this, so g prime of x, is going to be equal to 2x. And h prime of x, the derivative of this is going to be equal to, so we use the chain rule for this. The derivative of sine just becomes cosine. The inside stays the same, and then we multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is 2x, so x squared. We saw that here. Cool. Now let's write the product. So use the product rule. So the derivative of f of x, I'm just going to save some space and time by just writing out f of x like that instead of writing out the whole thing. It's the same thing. This is going to be equal to, so just as a recap for using the product rule, this is essentially how we use the product rule. So we find this is a way to do it. So gx times h prime of x plus h of x times g prime of x. When I said this is a way to do it, you could have wrote this part first, or you could have switched, but it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. So this is a little bit of a review of how to use the product rule if you had forgotten about it. If you still need a little bit more clarification, I encourage you to watch the video and where I go over this in detail and also do some examples. Okay, so now let's write out the actual functions, right? So let's do that. So this is going to be equal to g of x, which is right there, it's x squared, times h prime of x. We have this all, so all we have to do is just write it out. We already have everything given right there. So that's the benefit of writing it all out. Plus h of x, which is this, so it's sine x squared times g prime x, which is 2x. So everything is written out, and now we need to, so what I'll do now, you could technically multiply this 2x and this x squared, but I won't do that for now. Now what I'll do is I'll actually plug in the x value that we have on top. So when I scroll up, we see that we have that x value marked with a blue arrow. That's a square root of pi over 2. I'll plug that in. Since technically we do have our derivative, right? This is our derivative. So as we see, d by dx of f of x, this is our derivative. I'll just plug in the x value that we have above and solve. So this is going to be equal to, so when I plug it in, right? So technically I can write this as f prime of the square root of pi over 2. So that's what we want. And so this is going to be equal to, so this is what we have, and maybe I should do this in a different color just to kind of distinguish it from the ones we had before. So I'll do this in green, f prime of square root of pi, over 2. So let's just plug that into all the x's. So this is going to become the square root of pi over 2 squared times cosine of the square root of pi over 2 squared. That's just going to be pi over 4, and I'll do that right there as well. I don't want to waste some space doing that separately, so this is just pi over 4 times 2 times, so this is just 2 times maybe I'll do that in blue. So this is just 2 times the square root of pi over 2, and the 2's cancel out, so it's just the square root of pi. So I'll just do that for this one. So that's the square root of pi. And plus sine of, so this is the same thing, this becomes pi over 4. And this becomes, again, same thing, times the square root of pi. Okay, so now that we have all of this written out, what I will do is I will try to simplify. So this actually, you don't have to simplify if one of your options looks like this. So when I scroll up, I don't see any options that look like this. All of them have like this this top part and then like a number on the bottom. So I need to get it to that place, right? So let me simplify to get it to that point. So what I'll do is I'll rewrite this part right here. So this is actually going to be equal to, so this is going to be equal to the square root of 2 over 2. You could try this out, and these two are equivalent. And actually, this and this, both of these are equivalent. So these two are equivalent. So this is also equal to the square root of 2 over 2. So this right over here is also equivalent to the square root of 2 over 2. So that's what we have. So this is we still have that pi over 4, and then times this times the square root of pi plus this stuff times the square root of pi once again. So now let's multiply it out. So this is going to be equal to the square root. So the square root of 2 times the square root of pi, that's just the square root of 2 pi. So square root of 2 pi, and we still have that pi, so it's there, over 4 times 2, which is 8. And then this is plus square root of 2 over 2, so square root of 2 times the square root of pi is just the square root of 2 pi. This is over, so we just have this 2. What I'll do now is I want to get a common denominator, so I'll just multiply this by 4 and this by 4. And so this becomes, and let me scroll down a little bit more, pi times the square root of 2 pi over 8 plus 4 times the square root of 2 pi over 8. And this will become pi times the square root of 2 pi plus 4 times the square root of 2 pi all over 8. We can factor out the square root of 2 pi on both of these. So that is finally going to be equal to the square root of 2 pi times 4 plus pi, or pi plus 4, all over 8. And this is your answer. This is the final answer. You can't really simplify this anymore. This is your final answer right over there. So that was a pretty long problem, as I mentioned when we started this problem. So let's go up and see if any of the options, all our work we did to solve this question. So do any of the options look like the thing that we got? And I think it's this one. So this is looking like the option. So let me select this. So you would go about selecting this option if you were on a test. So yeah, this is one of an example of using the skills that we have to find derivatives. And this was kind of a harder example, I would say, since we had so many steps. I'm just scrolling to show you all these steps to get to this final answer. So yeah, this is pretty good practice for some of the test-like questions. So I hope you found this video helpful.